Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Nerd3's news. It is the 5th of February 2017, and the footage you're looking at today, which Matt has provided me with, is a game called Turmoil, where apparently he plays a little oil barony thing. It's on Steam, and I haven't played it myself, but Matt only had to play it for half an hour to get that footage, and he played it for 3 hours solid. So that's... It's one of those games that sort of gets in your brain and makes you just... It's like, oh, Factorio. God, I've said the word Factorio. I really want to play Factorio. Actually, first little bit of news is the next game from Cliffsky. I believe his name's Chris Harris. The guy who made Gratuitous Space Battles, Gratuitous Tank Battles, that one set on a ship that I can't remember the name of. He's making a game called... Shit, come on, brain, think. Production Line. He's making a game called Production Time. It's just Production Line, and it's just gone into alpha. He's just releasing an alpha just through his website and stuff. And it's a game where you have to build a factory floor of a car manufacturer, and you actually have to design cars and like build how the cars go. And it's basically a conveyor belt game. Conveyor belt games are literally just the best thing. I love... If a game has a conveyor belt in it, I want to just lick it. I love conveyor belt games. I haven't had a go at this one yet. I'm going to probably try and do a video on it for next week. I'm excited. I'm excited. Next week, what's next? Do we have any videos like planned yet? Oh, I found a little game that's very interesting. So we'll see that next week. It's a little browser game, sort of in the... Okay, it's kind of GeoGuessr-y in that it's something interesting and on a browser. It's nothing like GeoGuessr, but it's just a little thing. It's a little quirky thing that I found on the old internet, and so I'm going to be doing that. It doesn't matter. You'll see it. You'll see it at some point. It'll come out. Should we get on with the news? I think we should get on with the news. We're going to start with the news that Nintendo has sold 1.5 million NES Classic consoles. The NES Mini, the new one they released. I have so many questions about this. Number one, where the fuck were those 1.5 million consoles? Because I still cannot get a hold of one. I'm not paying like twice the price for it, which is literally the minimum I've ever seen it for. I don't want to do that thing. I'd like to just buy one. I like the idea of having a little NES that sits down just under my TV, and I'm like, oh, I fancy playing some Mario. Boop. I like that. I like that this is a way of preserving old games. I want them to do more. With the success of this thing, I assume they are going to do more. They just need to make more of the fucking thing. They didn't make enough. That's Nintendo's, literally, their thing right now, is they don't make enough. The only thing they make enough of is Mario games, and they make too many of them. There's a surplus of Mario games. Everything else, they just don't make enough. They don't make enough new IPs. They don't make enough consoles. They don't make enough money, apparently. They don't make enough things. They should have made more of those. I will get a hold of one at some point. It'd be nice to play Metroid and original Zelda, Kirby, with an actual like NES controller, like an actual holding a NES controller, which apparently has a cable length of 6 centimeters. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's 1.5 million. I've not seen one of those. I think actually what's happened is that someone's bought them all and hidden them. Actually, you know who it was? Elon Musk. This is a very clever plan. What he's done is he bought about 1.4 of those million, and he's put them on Mars as an incentive for us to all get to Mars. He's also bought most of the Nintendo Switch batch that they've made, and that's all going to be on Mars. And we're actually going to have to like bowl down and get to Mars just so we can then mine the Nintendo NES Mini things. He's put on there. I'd love to get one of those. I can't at the moment. So that's all I really have to say on that topic. I just thought it was interesting that he sold a shite ton. I'm glad it sold well. I hope we get more of them. Nice official ones done by people. That's some good news. Some bad news, and really, really, really quite bad news for some of you. Looks like the Deus Ex franchise is dead. At least for the time being. The Eidos, what the fuck are they called? Eidos, isn't it? Yeah, Eidos Montreal, who are making Tomb Raider. They're also doing the Avengers and now Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. They're doing a deal with Marvel. They seem that they're a bit too busy with it. Mankind Divided, that was the second one, wasn't it? What was the first one? Human Refinement. No, that was my thing. Human thing. And then Mankind Divided was it was the second one. Yeah, never mind. What the fuck was the first one? Human Revolution? Oh, fuck, who cares? Shit, no. Human Refinement's better. Yeah, the second one didn't sell so well. The second one seemed to be split up. It was kind of, everything was tying into this third game, and it looks like the third game of the trilogy isn't going to come out. If you're into the Deus Ex story, then sorry. You know, I didn't finish playing Mankind Divided. I played it for the video, and I played a little bit more than that, but I kind of just waned off of it. Like, in the first one, I never actually got past the first boss, because as soon as, like, kill the boss, I was like, oh, I'm playing a no-kill run, I literally can't do this. Then the second one, which is much better at that sort of thing, I just sort of wandered away from. It kind of came out at a very busy time. Still bought the damn thing. I wonder how many people have actually finished Mankind Divided. We could look that. You can look that up if you go on Steam, can't you? Look at the things. I can't be fucked to do it now. This is a news show, not a looking things up show. News and looking things up, they don't go hand in hand anymore. Just makes you up and say it. Yeah, the Deus Ex Massacre. I'm assuming they're going to carry the story on in something else. If they don't do any more games, they'll do like a graphic novel or something. The problem is, if the gap's too long, they won't continue the story. I think they did the games too big. They should have made them a lot smaller and more kind of focused things, because they're very AAA in their everything, when they're really, Deus Ex is more of a niche PC kind of thing. I feel if they make a third smaller one, that would be quite nice for everyone. But if they make it now, if they kind of have to make it now to finish the story, if they make another one later, they're just going to be rebooting it and doing something else with it, and you'll never get the finished story. Which kind of sucks, dick. It's always good to build all of them together. It's like fucking, what's his name? James Cameron, the guy who created Titanic. No, was it Titanic? Yeah, Avatar, that's the one. Did he do Titanic as well? Terminator? He did definitely some of them. Titanic's a piece of shit. Terminator's great. The Avatar sequel, this is gaming news. Fuck it, I'll mention it because it's interesting. The Avatar sequels are about to start shooting. Yeah, Avatar's getting a sequel because everyone gave a fuck about that Pocahontas knockoff. They've started shooting, but they've only started shooting now, 8 years later, because they've only finished writing the 5th script now. Because there's 5 Avatar films being made. So they've made 1, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5 have all been written at the same time, and now they're all going to shoot at the same time. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all being shot at the same time. So instead of being just like going through scene by scene and stuff, the scenes are going to be lurching between films. It'll be like one day we're doing something from scene like movie 3 and then 5 and then 2 and then 3 again. And it'll be just completely out of order. That's a great way to save money. To sort of that bulk recording thing. It's very time saving. It saves a lot of money. It's a YouTuber's tactic. But it's, I think you may, if they're going to try and do like characters that evolve, which they should be in anything, the performances are going to be quite off if they're jumping around that much. The characters aren't going to super develop unless the actors are incredibly good to go into every scene and go, right, what's my motivation? And the director brings out a fucking flowchart and goes, I don't know, look it up. This is where you are in your story at this point. It's quite a weird one. They're going to have to go, I wonder how the performance is going to be affected. Because it's going to be cheaper to do every part of that film, and I understand why they're doing it, but I wonder if the performance is going to be damaged. That doesn't really matter. This is a little side note. Actually, there's another side note. Who gives a shit? Like, we pretty much everyone went to see Avatar because it was like 3D movies, and we all went, oh shit, 3D movies is coming back. Let's see Avatar. And we watched it, and we're like, that wasn't very good. That well, the 3D was good, but like the rest of it, So like, does anybody here care about an Avatar sequel? Like, I wouldn't bother to go see it. It didn't interest me. The first one wasn't good. I don't really care for it. Did anyone really like Avatar? I wonder how the DVD sales were, because it sold really well on cinemas. It was the highest grossing film of all time, or some bollocks probably, until probably Star Wars probably knocked that off its list probably, so probably a lot there. Shit, I genuinely want to look up if it was. See, now I'm going to look a thing up. Highest grossing films all time. And Gone with the Wind and then Avatar. Yeah, I mean, that's adjusted for inflation and shit. I thought Avatar beat them adjusted for thingy. But yeah, Avatar's like the highest grossing thing of all time. But that's because it was like advertised as you have to see this in the cinemas. I wonder how well it did on DVD. I mean, I wonder who cares. I wonder if the second one's going to do good. I suppose that if they make like all 4 films for X billion or whatever, probably be less than $1 billion they could do it for. But it made several billion. So if they make these 4 films and stay in it's definitely made profit. And James Cameron's made the thing that he wants to desperately make. Okay. I suppose they really got nothing to lose. Avatar did so well, they kind of went, all right, make them, because at least you'll bring some money in. They might... Actually, probably the reason he's bulk shooting all 4 is because that's the only way he could get the 4 movies confirmed. Like, by saying, okay, but you have to do it this way to save all the money. I wonder if they're going to release them as well. They might all just come out. Like, you might get a new Avatar film every year. Nobody cares. Something people do desperately care about that's not being made. Electronic Arts, in brackets, the bastards, say Skate 4 is not in development. Remember that guy who worked for EA or something? Tweeted hashtag Skate 4? Just a tweet from a guy who works for EA. Nothing. They actually... EA, during their financial blather, explicitly stated that they're not presently making Skate 4. Which is dumb. They can make so much fucking money out of Skate 4. Are you shitting me? You would just print fucking money. Like, I've always said that what EA should do... This is a little side note here. EA should take the original Sims with all its expansion packs, remake it in HD, which would not take long, and re-release that as a complete collection. They would print fucking money. The original Sims with all its expansion packs for 20 quid, who the hell wouldn't buy that? I would buy that immediately. I'd buy that so hard I'd buy it several times. I want that in my life. They would literally print money with that thing. Same with Skate 4. I think especially with like how many like copies YouTubers sell, Skate 4 would sell a boatload, but it's not being made. So I understand you may not want to make a new game in a franchise that may not have sold well, but they did reprint Skate 3 because PewDiePie copied me and played it on his channel. Because YouTubers were playing it, so they did actually reprint the damn thing. But maybe they saw Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 and went, oh no, people aren't going to buy skateboarding games now. Because that was a piece of shit. Maybe. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 really was just a horrific piece of shit, wasn't it? It's ruined Skate 4 for us. I'll never forgive it. But seriously, EA, please, the original Sims. Just the original Sims HD remaster. You just got to tart up some art and kick it out. It should not take long. Do that thing. Do that fucking thing. What else we got? Oh, more EA news. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, that means the next Star Wars Battlefront game, which is the 5th or 6th one. There were a fair few on the PSP, so there were separate ones. There was 1 and 2, the ones on the PSP. It's probably the 5th or 6th game. It's also the second Star Wars Battlefront 2. I recommend they call it Star Wars Battlefront 2 2, because that makes sense, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 contains a single-player campaign. Hooray! One of the big problems of Star Wars Battlefront 1 was it was just a multiplayer thing, and I don't really care for multiplayer things. So having a nice single-player campaign would be good. I hope there's some sort of galactic conquest kind of thing there. That would be cushy. The other thing they really need to fix for Star Wars Battlefront 2 is change the name, because you can't have Star Wars Battlefront 2 come out. That name is taken by an incredible game. You just can't. History won't cope with Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. It just doesn't work. Because then after this one, you just have to release Star Wars Battlefront 2 again. Just call it Star Wars Battlefront 3. Just that's what you do. Skip 2, just call it Star Wars Battlefront 3. In fact, they should have called the first one Battlefront 3. But whatever. I'm not here to judge. Yes, I am. The other thing they need to do, absolutely need to do, is they need to double underline need to add more players to each side. I mean, it's 3-on-3 basically, Star Wars Battlefront at the moment, isn't it? It's about 3-on-3. It's not, the levels aren't big enough. The levels are small and cramped and corridory and linear. Even their Hoth levels are a piece of shit compared to like the old Hoth, which was just a sheet of white with just covered in dead stormtroopers and Ewoks. It was amazing. That's what we need. We need single player stuff. Good, you got that. Bigger. It's a Battlefront game. You made it too small. They should have made Battlefield. They made Call of Duty. It needs to go bigger. It needs to be more people on both sides. It probably sold a fair bit. I don't know. Who knows? And by bigger, I don't mean more maps. I just mean bigger maps. Bigger. Anyway, the next piece of news. Devolver Digital offers GDC demo space to those affected by the immigration ban. Don't know much to say about that. It's just a beautiful thing, and I just wanted to point out yet again that Devolver Digital are wonderful people. Lovely, wonderful, huggable, touchable, sexy people. And thought I'd mention that. The big news of this week, which I completely forgot to mention until just now, the Oculus lawsuit has ended. So I'm not entirely focused on this. I don't entirely know everything that's going on, but the Oculus were being sued by ZeniMax, who own everything, because they said that Oculus stole some of their technology and that Palmer Luckey, who owns Oculus, broke an NDA. Now, it's over, and Oculus owes ZeniMax $500 million. So Oculus have to give up $500 million. That's kind of fine because Facebook bought them out for $2 billion. So technically this is just hurting Facebook, I hope. And anything that hurts Facebook I'm totally okay with. But I believe that now means that ZeniMax are the people who've made the most money out of VR in the world. That's their claim to fame now. They're just the best at VR. Yeah, it's a big messy sort of thing. I don't know. But it's there. And I mention these things so you can go and research yourself, which is what the news should be. You should listen and go, that's interesting. I'm going to read up on it. So there's the thing there. The Oculus is having a bit of a fight, and Facebook is there, and I don't know. I'm sitting in the corner with the Vive, going, "Wow, look at all the games!" An interesting little bit of news. The Hideo Kojima, you know him, Mr. Kojima. He said that Death Stranding is a brand new idea that's best for business. Or best for the market, or however he put it. Probably the best for the market one. He's not Triple H. It's also not a horror game, and it doesn't feature a dark tone or something. Like, it doesn't have a dark anything. It's not focused on being dark. And it's not a horror game. It's an open-world, action-y thing. But which is a brand new idea, apparently. It's the brand new idea bit that gets me. Because, right, at this point, I'm kind of getting the feeling that Death Stranding is going to be a match 3 mobile phone game. It's going to be like a mini... Every time you punch something, a little match 3 thing comes up. That's what I'm saying it's going to be. Just... But apparently it's a new idea. I don't know. It's Kojima, man. He's very hit and miss. Mostly miss. Hideo Kojima is a wonderful person. He's one of those people who gets described as an auteur, not like a developer. And you just know... That's, like, being described as an auteur means they do really interesting stuff, but they don't always do it well. For instance, what's his tits who makes Heavy Rain? Christ, his name has eluded me. Oh, God. Franz Bajam Boom Flaff is... Fuck, what's his name? Oh, I'm going to see... It's another thing I'm going to have to look up. I was like, I'm not going to look at anything up when I do this. But I'm going to see his name, and I'm going to be so annoyed that I'm not going to do Quantic Dream. Yeah, who owns Quantic Dream? It's David Cage. I didn't say David Hayter. No, that's Snake in the good games. Yeah, David Cage. David Cage. Despite all my rage, I'm just David Cage. He's an auteur with his games, all of which are abominable and horrific, and I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies. But he's an auteur because he does interesting things, and I'm glad people like him are making things like that, even if they are sacks of shit. So, I'm glad Hideo Kojima's making something new and interesting. I just hope it's a damn sight better than that pile of wank that was Metal Gear Solid 5 and 4. And basically everything he did after Peace Walker, to be perfectly honest. There was a bit in the middle where he was making some interesting shit on the PS2, and then it kind of went downhill a bit from there. Yeah. Good luck, Hideo Kojima. Have you seen, he did like a tour of his offices. Jesus Christ, it's all white and shiny, looks massively fucking futuristic as shit. It's weird. The Last Guardian has received a huge price cut. They've lopped $20 off the price. Permanently. It came out like 2 months ago. I don't think it's selling very well. I think it's just a... I love The Last Guardian. Right, I'm one of those people who kind of just doesn't have any problems with it because I have patience. That's genuinely one of the defining things. I don't... It doesn't play like any other game, and it doesn't really feel like a game in some places. If you game it, it's not going to feel great. If you kind of relax and let kind of sink into it, some people are going to have problems with that, and I totally get it. I totally get that you're going to go, the creature's annoying as shit. But if you take your time and wait and look at it and try and work out why it's doing the things it's doing, then you will have a better time. You have a good time. I love that game so much, and it's sad to see that it's not doing great. I've not finished it yet. I am playing an hour of it sort of every week. I want it to last. I mean, we're not going to get another game in that series ever, and it's like my favourite series. So I'm playing through it tentatively, slowly, in little bits, and savouring little tiny little bits. It's nice. I'm just savouring it. Unlike Final Fantasy 15, which I'm waiting for that fucking patch, which comes out on the 21st of February. Final Fantasy 15 is getting the 60 FPS patch on PlayStation 4 Pro, which means it will become playable. And from then point on, I'm going to just blitz that motherfucker like it was Bowl. Blitz Ball. That was a Final Fantasy 10 thing, wasn't it? Ooh. Third of their series ago. Although they had like 15 oh, fuck, it doesn't matter. Nintendo's final Wii U game, Project Giant Robot, has been cancelled. Apparently Nintendo are making a game called Project Giant Robot that was going to be coming out on the Wii U. And it's apparently about a robot. They announced 2 games for the Wii U a few years ago called Project Guard and Project Giant Robot. Project Guard ended up being Star Fox, I believe. I don't quite remember now. I should look that up. But yeah, Project Giant Robot is apparently is a thing they got rid of. So maybe they were making a new IP, but they've buggered it. Maybe it's become that game. They showed off a giant robot game for Switch, so maybe it became that thing. Yeah, although if that thing was the giant robot, the one we saw had loads of Wii U bollocks and touchscreen bollocks. It just really fucking matter. Actually, on the topic of Nintendo again, there's something really interesting going on with Pokemon Sun and Moon. So Pokemon Sun and Moon has these things called global missions, where you have to, once you finish the game and stuff, and I can't remember what you have to do, they do sort of like, they got to do missions. Like everybody's got to pitch into these missions together that I literally didn't know was happening. The first one was to catch 100 million Pokemon, and everyone failed. Just completely failed. The second one was to scan 1 million Pokemon or something. Everyone failed. Every time they do these global missions, everyone's just failing, and it's a beautiful, just wonderful thing. Hang on, what was the third one? I want to see if yeah, they have to trade 1 million Pokemon. There we go. And the third one, which starts at some point, I don't know if I can see that information on the screen. That's useful. You have to trade 1 million Pokemon. So they're doing these global things, but none of these global things are doable. Like, they're not even getting close to these. What was on that 100 million Pokemon one? Shit, they didn't do very well. Oh god, I'm looking so much shit up today. Yeah, global mission, Pokemon, 100 million. Look at my Google phone. And second mission, first mission. First mission was a massive failure. Let's read that one. Yeah, okay, so there we go. They had to collect 100 million Pokemon, and they only managed to collect 16.4 million. 16% of the way. That's not great. I wonder if that's because you can only really do these missions at the end of the game. I had no fucking clue they even existed. I've been playing that game for quite a while, but then again, I play games a lot slower than most people. I suppose that's mostly it. Even though it's a record-selling game, like how many people finish a game? Ah, fuck. I'm going to look up Deus Ex. Deus Ex. And with the subtlest of edits, I can tell you that 35.2 people on Steam, so 35.2% of people, not just 35.2 people, basically a third of people that bought Deus Ex Mankind Divided have finished it. So only a third of the people are carrying on that stuff. That is a big deal with games like this. Only a third of people who have bought that game have actually finished it. That's the achievement for you've completed Deus Ex Mankind Divided on any difficulty. I wonder if there's like one for just you've done the first mission. I bet there is sort of thing as well. God damn it. Some of these just have names and they don't say what they're for. God, secret achievements, who gives a shit. But yeah, it's kind of only a third of people played it. So if only a third of people who bought Pokemon... Actually, I'd say it was less, because a lot of kids play Pokemon, and they're not really going to progress. They get bored by a shiny thing, or a paedophile, or whatever kids get distracted by these days. And they're all going to wander off and fall into traffic and ruin people's lives. So they're far too busy to actually, complete the game. I believe you have to complete the game to do the global missions. I might be wrong, but I've not seen them yet, and I've got quite far into it. Unless it is a thing that's happening and you have to... I don't know if you have to put it into a thing. Their servers might not be working. I just think it's super interesting that this failure is just consistent. And I'm excited to see how well next week's ones do with even more failure. Because, yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I like... Normally when you see these global things, everyone makes it. It's nice and easy. Pokemon's just like, no, you will fucking work for that shit. million Pokemon. You can't really put effort into that, though, because you can't effort into trading Pokemon unless you just sit there and started trading Pokemon. You're not going to go, oh, it's that thing. I'm going to sit there and trade as many Pokemon as possible. Oh, you're not going to be like, oh, trade. It doesn't feel like an encouragement, whatever the reward is, because it's you can't like give in like too much for it. It's completely out of your hands. So why bother? Maybe. Right, let's finish up today on some happy light news. I like to do a nice bit of happy light news. Oh, wait, no, actually. Wait, hang on. When did this happen? Peter Capaldi is leaving Doctor Who. Was this week or was that last week? I don't think I've talked about this yet. Fuck, I'm going to talk about this now. Peter Capaldi is leaving Doctor Who. Not again, if I mentioned this last week. So the speculation is who's going to replace him, and all that sort of thing. I kind of thought he would go because Moffat's leaving at the same time, so we're going to get a new Doctor, probably a new companion. We might keep Bill, I don't know. So we might have a new Doctor, new companion, new writer. It's going to be it's going to be between like the specials and Series 5 kind of jump, where everything changes over, which is always like the most difficult thing to do. But you kind of... It's nice that then Chibnall gets to define his own Doctor. I'm not that excited. I really don't like Chris Chibnall's writing of Doctor Who at all, especially not his writing of Torchwood, which is... well, Torchwood itself was quite dire. I enjoyed... there's a wonderful... as Moffat did a talk in like Oxford or Cambridge or something, and he said that a TV show with secret bases shouldn't also feature swearing. And I think that's a magical thing to say. But the speculation of who's going to replace Peter Capaldi will go off. I'm always going to say I would love it to be Adrian Lester, who played Mickey Bricks in Hustle. One of the best actors. He's got the serious, he's got the cheeky, he has the whole package. He would be my choice. A name that's being batted around a lot is Olivia Colman. I mean, most of this is bullshit. These names have been batted around because they wouldn't have started. I wouldn't think they would have actually started really. They may have got the very early stages of getting somebody in now, but I don't think they're going to have anyone. Olivia Colman is a name that's been batted around a lot, and if Olivia Colman becomes a Doctor, 1,000 happinesses will be. Yes, she's wonderful. She's perfect. Love it, love it, love it. People I definitely don't want to be the Doctor. Somebody ridiculously famous. Somebody who's already had like a career-defining role. Olivia Colman has been in a lot of stuff and is very good. I mean, Adrian Lester as well, but somebody who's like big and had a very sort of big role. I don't want stunt casting. I don't want celebrity casting. I don't want fucking Johnny Depp or Russell Brand to be the Doctor. You know, I don't. That doesn't work. I mean, no, we don't want that shit. We don't want that shit. The ethnicity, sex, who gives a fuck? The Doctor could be fucking white, brown, green. Nobody cares. Male, female, that's absolutely fine. We've established that works in the show. American, possibly. You can get away with it, I'd say nowadays. I genuinely wouldn't care as long as he had British charm, not American charm. British charm, just to summarise, British charm is Hugh Grant. It's the very mumbly, quite lovely sort of charm. You know, lovely. Somebody who you describe as lovely. An American charm is like Joel McHale. It's sexy charm. It's sort of sexy, attractive charm. I want more than the Britishy charm. And I also want someone interesting. I don't want somebody who just looks like a generic fucker. Like that guy from Q. The guy who plays Q in Bond is being batted around and he looks boring as shite. Somebody interesting. It's got to be somebody interesting looking who's also... Just give me somebody I've never fucking heard of, like Matt Smith. The other big debate is people like, it's always got to be somebody who's a big fan of Doctor Who. Matt Smith hadn't even watched Doctor Who before he was given the job of the Doctor. And he proved David Tennant watched a shit ton of it, Matt Smith didn't, and they both proved you could be an amazing Doctor with or without that knowledge. That's unimportant. Just basically, yeah, make sure it's somebody who's charismatic, cheeky, and can run. That's the biggest fucking misstep they made. And happy and bright and bouncy, and if Chris Chibnall goes, we're going to make Doctor Who darker, then it's going to die. It's going to die a death. Although the big thing that people are complaining about now is the ratings. Like, everyone's going, the ratings were low. But actually, yeah, ratings were lower because people don't watch live TV anymore. They just don't. There's no fucking point to watching it live. You just watch it when you get around to it. Live TV is an inconvenience more than anything. It's really not. Like, the numbers are dropping, but I've actually worked out the numbers, if you include 7-day watching later, so people have like recorded all that sort of shit, and iPlayer, and that means that the numbers, the average numbers in viewers in millions. Series 1, Christopher Eccleston, 7.9 million people would watch that series. Series 2, 7.7. Series 3, 7.5. Series 4, 8.05. That was David Tennant's end one. Matt Smith went to a 7.73. Then his second series, Series 6, 7.52. His third series, 7.44. So that was when they switched over between Amy and Clara as well. The 8th series was when Capaldi took over, 7.72. And then the most recent series was only 6.79. That was the big drop. I mean, that's not a huge drop off. Like when it was at its height, it was only 8 million, so it's dropped like 1 million and a bit, which is quite a big drop. But it's not like catastrophic. It's still going to carry on. Like as long as it's getting above 6 million, it should be fine. But honestly, I just think that's down to Clara. Nobody fucking liked Clara. Clara was a misstep that just carried on misstepping. And then they brought in whoever the fuck that actress from Game of Thrones was, who was just the dullest, boringest, terriblest actor I've ever seen in Doctor Who. And they've literally had a paving stone acting Doctor Who. And I literally haven't watched episodes in that series, and I'm the biggest fucking Doctor Who fan, because I kind of just like, oh, Clara. Oh, Clara. Peter Capaldi is amazing as the Doctor. Episodes where Clara isn't in, he's just superb. He's devastatingly good as a Doctor. But when Clara comes along, he's just... Ugh. So hopefully the next series will pick up a bit, as long as they can ditch Clara. As long as they never bring Clara back. If they cast Jenna Coleman, I think is her name, as the Doctor, it will die. It will die immediately and hard. But yeah, so Doctor Who isn't really collapsing. It's not like a rate. They were like, oh, only 4 people. The numbers get banned around. Only 4 people watched Doctor Who last year. Actually, that was only 1 episode, and it was up against like the Rugby World Cup or something. And then that ended up being like 6-point-something million once you include the iPlayer and stuff. Because the way people watching TV changes, and doing the old ways is just stupid. We should go new ways. Anyway, there's a slight detour through Doctor Who. Richard Ayoade also, I think, would be okay as the Doctor. I don't know. I think he's a bit too... He's too big of a personality. The Doctor needs to kind of define his role into the Doctor. I think he just kind of stands aside from it. And he's doing the Crystal Maze now, so that is a much better role. Him doing the Crystal Maze with that little edge of sarcasm he has will be perfect. And the final little bit of good news that we'll end on for this week: Rocket League is getting toys. They are making pullback little versions of the Rocket League cars, which have like a Rocket League ball, and you could like then get these 12 different ones that come. I think they're doing blind bags though, which would be really irritating. But you pull them back, and then you could basically play Rocket League in your living room with like an actual little toy car and an actual little ball. And I'm gonna do that. Like literally, when they come out, I am gonna get enough of those cars to actually do that and play a proper little mini game of Rocket League. Fucking pumped for that shit. Anyway, that was the news for the 5th of February 2017. I will see you all next week. I was about to say, well, next week, what we do, I don't know. That's how the news works. Next week, we will see.